The American branch of the International Law Association is devoted to the study, development, and promotion of international law. Founded a century ago, it is one of the oldest and largest branches of the Global International Law Association, which has nearly 5,000 members in 63 countries.
The motto of our organization is now more than ever. And we chose that motto because international law and global cooperation are more important to our everyday lives now more than ever.
In 1873, several Americans helped create an international organization that later became the International Law Association, or ILA. The American branch, also known as ABILA, held its first annual meeting in January of 1922 with Hollis R. Bailey as its first president. William Howard Taft, a former U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice and U.S. President, served as its first honorary president.
I'm incredibly proud of ABILA's 100-year legacy of doing that work through its conferences and its events and its committees. And I'm incredibly proud that that work continues to this day.
2022 marks the 100th anniversary of the branch. Some things have remained constant within the organization, while others have ebbed and flowed with changing circumstances and needs.
I think ABILA remains very relevant today as an important forum for discussion, for bringing in the next generation, to be able to bring in a variety of different perspectives, academics, students, practitioners, they're all represented.
The professionals who make up the American branch are a diverse and inclusive group of practitioners, public servants, and academics who volunteer their time, energy, and expertise to support the branch's mission.
My becoming involved with the branch and the ILA really was one of the best career moves I made, and I have made a number of good friends, as well as expanding my network of colleagues.
The American branch is so relevant today because it's successfully bridging the gap between the profession and future generations of lawyers. This is an area where a lot of nonprofits are really struggling, but the American branch has done a great job of focusing their attention on students and young lawyers.
I find that the American branch's board is really receptive to members' recommendations for new activities and provides ample opportunities to become more involved.
What makes the ABILA different is its vibrant committee system. Committees provide the opportunity for ABILA members to become involved in scholarship and advocacy, developing reports and recommendations with the committees.
The committees cover many areas of international law, including arbitration, commercial law, human rights, space law, the use of force, and law of the sea, among many others. As of 2022, the branch has 20 active committees and 1 study group. Their work is central to the branch's mission.
My start with the branch began in 1994 when then President Al Rubin asked me to begin a committee on the International Criminal Court draft statute that had just issued from the International Law Commission. Our committee proved to be very influential. We actually produced a model draft statute that was then presented to the delegates at the diplomatic conference in Rome. And I worked closely with Sharif Bassiouni, a former ABILA member, who chaired the drafting committee in Rome, to distribute it to the conference, and it helped shape the path and the future of the International Criminal Court. Interestingly, the very first draft statute for an International Criminal Court came from the International Law Association.
Perhaps my most valuable experience with the American branch was the opportunity to contribute to a joint submission to the UN Human Rights Council's Universal Periodic Review of the United States, along with several other members of ABILA's Human Rights Committee.
Committee reports have been published in the branch's publication, The Proceedings, since the 1920s. Today, committee work is also published on the branch website and highlighted in its regular newsletters.
And so our activities are really very diverse. They consist of written publications, podcasts, webinars, books, other kinds of reports. And indeed, we're very much a bottom-up, rather than a top-down organization.
As one of the largest branches, the American branch is an integral part of the Global International Law Association. The branch has hosted several ILA biennial conferences and appoints a member to serve as the ILA liaison to the United Nations.
What makes ABILA unique is that it provides a direct link between the U.S. international law community and the global international law community.
The branch sent delegates to different committees organized by the headquarters in London. They work on very interesting projects.
As part of the International Law Association, the American branch is part of a worldwide network of individuals committed to work of great importance 100 years ago and no less urgently so today.
The American branch also collaborates with other U.S. organizations, including the American Society of International Law, the American Foreign Law Association, and the New York City Bar Association.
It is a global institution. It's in a global association, so you're part of a bigger system.
Because of our relationship with the International Law Association and many other global organizations dedicated to the progressive development of international law, our members have a unique opportunity to connect with and learn from colleagues from different countries and legal systems around the world.
The work of the American branch, as well as the connections that it fosters, are as important, if not more so, I think, than when the branch was founded 100 years ago.
Since 1974, the branch has organized its own annual conference, International Law Weekend, an ambitious event held in New York City each fall.
We bring together between 1,000 and 2,000 individuals, depending upon whether we're in person or virtual, to debate, deliberate, and discuss the most important international law issues today.
The ILW panels I remember the most are the ones dealing with topics I'm less familiar with, like law of the sea or space law. It's really great to be able to go to a conference in your area of specialty, but also learn something new.
It promotes an epistemic community of international legal professionals, academics, students, practitioners, diplomats, government officials. It's one of the many exciting aspects of attending International Law Weekend.
For some members, attending International Law Weekend has been an eye-opening, even life and career-changing event.
I had one of those epiphany moments in a lecture about public international law or a panel about it. And it was really, I want to be in the field of public international law and not at the big Manhattan law firm where I was a litigator. And that really led me, with other developments, to a second law degree in international law and then a career in international law.
I went out to lunch with the acquisition editor of Cambridge University Press and got my first contract to publish with that publishing house at one of the International Law Weekends. And since then, I've published 5 books with Cambridge. That wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for International Law Weekend.
In addition to the International Law Weekend, the branch organizes regional conferences. We have the International Law Weekend West, we have one in the Midwest, and we have one in the South.
When you have regional meetings, then they are closer to home. There are people who are involved in international law in those settings. And so to bring them together and to give them an opportunity to play an active role in ABILA is an exceedingly important item that ought to stay on the agenda.
I think the ILA and ABILA in particular play a very important role in the development of international law, in the understanding of international law, and contributes to ensuring that the new issues and new problems are addressed, and that the work of academics is also used to advance international law.
One of the things that the branch does that other international organizations don't do is it takes positions on important issues in international law.
The reports that are published in the proceedings of ABILA, the studies, the books, the draft treaties, actually, some of which have come into effect, the resolutions and so on at the international level have really had a a very significant impact on international law, and it's really quite amazing.
During the next century, as threats to the international rule of law multiply, the American branch is poised to play a key role in defending the global legal system through its committee work, conferences, and education.
The work of ABILA and the ILA in bringing us together to try and envision a better future for international law and the world is more important than ever.
Globalization has made the world more interconnected, and that's why organizations like ABILA, with the ability of our members to dive into these very complex questions, is more important than ever.